Even men at the top of their game find themselves wanting more from life. Whether it's more meaning, unshakable confidence, a bigger impact, more money, deeper love, a hotter sex life, or a powerful legacy. Find out how good your life can be on this episode of Man Alive. Also, as I've supported men in their love and work lives for 15 years now, many men ask for the right words to say to be more successful, attractive, and desirable. But I found it's not so simple as giving scripts or lines because every man is different. So giving words or scripts would be like giving a tall, thin man a shorter, wider man's pants, or vice versa. The words have to make sense for you and your personality, and there's so much happening beneath the surface that people are responding to. If you're interested in how to become a better lover and leader in your own unique way, go to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz, or you can text ALIVE to 44144. It only takes a couple minutes and you'll start to get an idea of how you can be both more respected and desired. After you fill it out, we can schedule a time to review your quiz and talk about your specific challenges and desires. So again, go to either shanajamescoaching.com/quiz or text ALIVE to 44144. That's ALIVE to 44144. Enjoy this episode of Man Alive. Hello and welcome to this episode of Man Alive. I'm your host, Shana James, and this is going to be, I think, an amazing episode that perhaps we could say that every man will want to hear, but maybe not. You'll figure it out in a minute. We're going to talk about how to grow your penis, if that's what you want. And my guest today, Judson Brandeis. Welcome, Judson.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Yes, is a urologist and has been working with the P-Long, would you call it a protocol?
Yeah, so we started with the P-Long study.
Okay.
And the P-Long study evolved into the P-Long protocol.
Okay, great. So you've been doing a study on this. Is it like an actual instrument, or is it a health protocol, or?
Well, it's a combination protocol.
Okay. Great.
And so
we're going to get into your understanding and your history of trying different technologies and how, many men have a desire to have a bigger penis. And it's a question of, would you actually do something about that? Would you not? Like, how much is it impacting your life and your sex and your relationships? So what I'm appreciating about you is that you've taken the time to do a study and recruit men and find a practice that is actually safe and that you're going to tell us about it so men can make a decision as to whether or not this is for them.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. So how did you come to this?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is an age-old problem. If you look at Egyptian hieroglyphics, there's like these guys trying to pull Egyptian penises, right? So
really interesting.
Okay. Guys have been trying to do this for thousands and thousands of years. And the reason I got interested in it is I'm a board certified urologist. I have a men's health practice in Northern California. And when people have problems or they need second opinions, they come to see me. Mm-hmm. And so I've seen the disasters from suspensory ligament ligation, which is a surgery, or injection of fillers, or fat transfers, or there's a new silicone implant called the E-list implant or Pneuma. And I've seen a number of those removed. And all of those really have disastrous consequences of an otherwise normal, healthy guy's penis.
Yeah. So you've been witness to men coming to you having problems.
Disasters.
They've tried all of these, different methods, and then they went wrong.
Exactly. And so as a regenerative urologist, someone who helps men turn back the clock on erectile function and penile function, I thought, what can I do to help these men improve the length, girth, and function of the penis? And I've done research at American Red Cross with Harold T. Merriman, the guy that figured out how to freeze blood. And I've done research at Harvard Medical School with the folks that figured out how to do the first living-related kidney transplant. And I did research at UCLA with Mark Litwin, who's the chairman of the department there, and really an icon in health outcomes research. And so I figured, let me give it a shot. Let me see if I can increase the length, girth, and function of the penis in a way that's natural and totally safe.
Okay. So did you create the P-Long?
I did.
Okay, so
You know,
P-Long
it's
is
like this crazy demented mind that I have. Yeah.
So it's your name. It's not some product that was out there.
No, I created it.
You coined the term.
I coined the term P-Long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. I mean, I can imagine how you came to that. We don't have to go there.
Yeah.
All right. So you said there was a little bit of a funny story too about how this all came about.
Well, I mean, the question is, how do you recruit people?
Okay.
Right. You know, you can't go, like, I have a friend that runs Diablo Clinical Research, and I was part of the original COVID vaccine trial. So, but
Wow.
you can advertise for those kind of things on Google or Facebook or those kind of things. But how do you advertise for a clinical research study that, you know, is IRB approved? It's listed at clinicaltrials.gov, which is the NIH website. How do you recruit for that study? And so
you actually, hold on, I'll cut that out. Okay. So you actually got approval through NIH and through all of these other, medical.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta make sure that your people are protected, and there's proper consent forms and proper metrics, you know, the way you measure things and so on and so forth. And you have to make sure that if you get results, it's going to be, you know, approved and able to present. You know, I presented at the joint meeting of the International Society of Sexual Medicine and the Sexual Medicine Society of North America. So it's a reviewed meeting. I got the oral presentation, which is the highest level. And so, you know, my academic colleagues from all around the world read through the research and decided, you know, this is important stuff.
Amazing. How long did it take to get approved?
It took, well, the whole thing took over 2 years.
Yeah. Well, that sounds actually faster than I would have imagined.
Yeah. Well, you know, so it was a 6-month protocol.
Okay.
And
so you had to start in recruiting.
The end, so we had to start recruiting. So how do you recruit, right? So, you know, I tried to recruit some of my own patients, and then there is a gay newspaper in San Francisco. And so I took out ads in the gay newspaper, and, you know, I got a couple patients, but not enough to fill the study. Yeah. And then
how many did you need for the study?
Well, I wanted to do 40, and we ended up, I think, with 32.
Okay.
And we had over 40, but, you know, some people drop out, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And then I'm a sexual wellness advisor for Pornhub. So I create content, you know, non-sexual, sexual, but I'm clothed in the videos.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm alone in the videos. And you can see me from my, you know, shirt up in the videos.
So you could actually be naked from the basement, but nobody would ever know.
Nobody would know. Yeah. And so I actually took out ads on Pornhub. I figured this is going to be like a perfect place to recruit patients. And then, you know, you got to have keywords. So I'm like, all right, small penis, big penis, small dick, big, you know, like all those kind of words to try to get to recruit subjects. And unfortunately, we didn't recruit too many people off the Pornhub website.
Okay.
So then I was like, well, probably Grindr might be a better way to go. So I took out ads on Grindr, and, you know, we got a few people, but not too many. And then swingers websites, we went to swingers websites. That didn't really pan out as well.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a persistent guy.
Yeah, I could tell.
And so finally, actually, I connected with Rena Malik, who's a urologist in Maryland who has a huge YouTube channel, over 1 million subscribers. And she put it out on her community portal, and she actually helped me fill the rest of the spots in the study. And we had people from Florida, from New York, from Vegas, from Seattle, from all over the country at that point.
So cool.
And so we were able to actually
finish how to get someone to say yes to this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. What did the study entail? What did you have men do? Which I imagine is what the protocol is as well.
Okay. So, you know, so this is the rationale. Okay. Biologic systems are malleable. Okay. Meaning that, like, you all see pictures from National Geographic of that tribe in Africa with the people with the really long necks with those, ringlets around the neck, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how do you do that? If you apply a consistent pressure or force in the body, you'll remodel tissue. The same way that orthodontists put braces on people to move their teeth, right? How do you move teeth? You move it by consistent pressure over time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And so the way to accelerate the process is by using growth factor. And the best place to get growth factor is platelet-rich plasma, or PRP. So what we do is we draw blood, we spin the blood down, we isolate the platelets, and then you inject the platelets back into the penis, which, sounds horrible, but actually is not too bad. Okay. You do it with a 30-gauge needle.
You take the growth platelets, you insert them into the cells?
So you take platelets, you take blood, you isolate the platelets, and then re-inject the platelets back into the penis. Okay. Right. And so think about it this way. If you're out like skateboarding or something like that, not that you skateboard, but then you cut yourself, right? So then your hand, it'll bleed a little bit. The platelets come, they stop the bleeding, but when they release the clotting factors, they also release the growth factors. So that little area of your hand that you cut regrows.
Will start to grow back. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, why doesn't the rest of your arm grow? Because there's no platelets becoming activated and releasing their growth factors there. It's only in that area of injury. So we can take advantage of that. And we do, there's the P shot, there's the O shot. They use it for hair growth. They use it in dental surgery. They use it in orthopedics. There's always a football player that's getting the PRP injected in their joints and so on and so forth. And so this is what we can use to accelerate the growth process. And it really kind of rang a bell when I was talking to a friend of mine who's an orthodontist, and he was telling me about a patient of his who was pregnant with twins. And he said, I've never had an adult patient whose teeth moved faster.
Oh, fascinating.
Let's figure out where we can get some growth factor. So, the PRP is kind of the secret sauce. Okay. And so it's a PRP injection once a month for 6 months. Okay. Now, the penis has, you want it to grow in two ways. You want it to grow lengthwise, and you want it to grow in girth, right? If you're just growing it in length, you end up with a pencil penis.
You end up stretching it.
Yeah, exactly. So you got length, not girth, like a pencil, right? And if you just focus on girth, then you end up with what I call a pig in a blanket penis, right? Which is, more girth, but a small head.
Not the length. Yeah.
And if you look at the way that collagen is oriented under the penile skin, there's lengthwise collagen and there's circumferential collagen. So we had to find a device that could stretch the penis in length. And a friend of mine, Landon Trost at Mayo Clinic, developed a device called the RestoreX device, which is really used for Peyronie's disease, which is a curvature of the penis, but works really, really well. And the data on the RestoreX device and Peyronie's disease using something called Xiaflex, which is a chemical that dissolves plaques, is that they grew penises about almost 2 centimeters, right? Which is almost about an inch. So there is sort of.
So they were already using this for growth, not just for the curvature.
Exactly. Okay. Well, improving curvature and improving length, because Peyronie's disease will typically shorten the penis because it's scar tissue. So, here's a device that's already been proven to grow length. And then I use the penis pump from Dr. Joel Kaplan, which is a hand pump where you can increase pressure a lot to grow girth. Okay. Right. So penis pumps aren't great for growing length, but they're really good for growing girth. Okay. Right. So you got girth, length, and then I created a supplement called Affirm from Affirm Science, which is a nitric oxide boosting supplement. And you need nitric oxide to increase circulation, right? So nitric oxide boosts circulation. Yep. So if you take Affirm 2 tablets twice a day, it's basically like nature's Viagra.
Okay. So you're combining all of these to get the length, girth, and.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence that if you put a penile stretching device or a pump on for 8 to 10 hours a day for 6 to 8 months, you can increase the size of the penis. But most people that I know with normal jobs don't have time to put.
Right. Okay. That was a couple questions I was going to ask. One is like, how much are we talking? How much growth? And then also, right, how long do you have to have a device on? And is it painful? Exactly. And what is it like?
Exactly. So with the RestoreX device, the length device, it's 20 minutes twice a day. Okay. And with the pump, it's basically a total of about 12 to 15 minutes twice a day. So you pump it up for a minute, release it, 1 minute, release it, 5 minutes, release it, 5 minutes, release it. And that just has to do with the way that collagen stretches.
Okay.
Okay, so it's basically 35, 40 minutes in the morning, 35, 40 minutes in the evening, right? So that's for a lot of guys, that's a reasonable amount of time, right?
And then this is over a 6-month period.
Over a 6-month period. And the thing is, like, I'm not telling guys, like, listen, you need a bigger penis.
Right. It's
self-driven. Entirely up to you, right? Yes. But if you want a bigger penis, this is safe and effective. Okay, so the question is, all right, how effective?
Right, how effective? How long does it last?
Yeah, so we grew penises almost an inch in length and increased girth by about a half an inch.
Okay.
And all of the patients in the study, or the subjects, told me at the end of the study that their erectile function was improved.
Wow.
Right? That's so how much did it improve? The only instruments that we have are quantifying improvement in men with erectile dysfunction.
Right.
If your function is already good, and by definition, my subjects in the study had to have good erectile function, because you can't really grow a penis that doesn't fully fill up with blood.
Okay.
Right. But a guy knows if it's working better. And so I asked guys, it's called the Likert questionnaire. Is it the same, better, much better, worse, much worse? And everyone said, oh, it's better.
Interesting.
Said, is it much better? No, it's not much better, but it's better.
Better. So not only was there growth, there was also functionality increase or improvement.
And that's not surprising given the nature of PRP.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And then is this something that actually lasts for a long amount of time, or is it something you have to keep doing or going back to?
Yeah. So, as long as your erectile function is normal, it should last. It's like when you move your teeth, like the teeth go back to the position they were at. No, of course not.
Well, mine have.
Oh, okay.
But
all right.
That's a little different. But okay. So for this, you don't revert to where you were before.
Yeah, well, the thing is, every night when you're sleeping, when you hit REM sleep, you're going to get 30 to 60 minutes of erections every night. So even if you're not normally getting erections during the day, you're going to get 30 to 60 minutes of erections every night. And by taking a nitric oxide booster like Affirm,
right, that's the
you're going to continue boosting erectile function naturally.
Wow. Okay. What does the nitric oxide do?
Yeah, so what nitric oxide does, it's really interesting. When I was at UCLA, one of my professors, Lou Ignarro, won the Nobel Prize for discovering nitric oxide as a second messenger. And then he and another one of my professors, Jake Rafer, wrote the original paper on how Viagra works. And so your nerve terminals release nitric oxide. And what that does is it tells your body to make a chemical called cyclic GMP. And cyclic GMP creates a cascade that opens up blood vessels. So the more cyclic GMP that you have, the more your blood vessels open. But as you age, you make less and less nitric oxide so that your blood vessels don't open and close nearly as easily. And so by taking a supplement which has citrulline, which we get from watermelon, and nitrates, which we get from beets and other things, those are the two pathways that boost nitric oxide. Now, when you make cyclic GMP, there's an enzyme system in your body called the phosphodiesterase system that breaks down cyclic GMP. Otherwise, your blood vessels would stay open forever. Okay. And the finding with Viagra or sildenafil was that there was a very specific enzyme that was only in the penis called PDE5. And so if you inhibited or blocked PDE5, then you kept more cyclic GMP available and you kept blood vessels open. So a PDE5 inhibitor selectively increases blood flow in the penis. That's the genius. But the nice thing is taking a nitric oxide booster makes a PDE5 inhibitor more effective. And a lot of men will say, Viagra used to work great for me. And I think I'm getting tolerized to it because it's not working as well. And so part of it not working as well. Oh yeah, all the time. Part of it not working as well is maybe the blood vessels are starting to get clogged. But the other part is you're probably not making as much nitric oxide. And the beautiful thing about taking nitric oxide boosters, it's totally safe. It improves circulation everywhere. It improves blood pressure. It improves blood flow to your brain. So a lot of people say that they have better short-term memory.
Wow.
And it improves athletic function. So a lot of weightlifters and elite endurance athletes will take nitric oxide boosters as a kind of natural and legal and safe way to improve physical performance.
Interesting. This
Yeah.
is fascinating. Okay. What else do you want us to know, or what else do you want the men listening to know about this?
Yeah. So, the other technologies for improving the size of the penis. So let's go over them real quick. So one of them are fillers, right? So we all see movie stars that get fillers in their face, but if you look at them over the years, they'll start to get sagging, and the fillers will start drooping in the face. If you look at the face under, if you pull the skin off, they're basically bags of fat.
Yeah.
And so when they put fillers in, they squirt the fillers into these bags of fat, but over time, fillers are biologic, so they typically are hyaluronic acid, and hyaluronic acid will dissolve over time.
Okay.
And so guys that get fillers injected in their penis, and fillers are expensive. So a penile injection of fillers, they usually use about 5 or 10 tubes of fillers.
Wow.
Is anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000.
Wow.
And yeah. I mean,
and then it would have to be done again and again.
It'll last for about a year or two.
Okay.
You get a pig in a blanket penis, right? Because you're increasing girth, you're not increasing length, and the head of the penis is small.
Okay.
And after a year or two, if you don't re-inject it, you get kind of a lumpy, bumpy penis.
Oh, that does not sound like
so that's not so good.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is get a fat transfer, right? So you suck fat from another part of the body, you morcellate it, you treat it, and then you re-inject it under the skin, but above the erectile bodies, right? But as a urologist who's felt a lot of penises, when you feel a penis that has a fat transfer, it's squishy.
Interesting.
Right? It just doesn't feel like a normal rigid, firm, erect penis. It feels like my kids make slime.
I hate slime.
It's like a coat of slime under the skin, but over the erectile body.
Not
so I
what
can't
most men are
imagine.
going for.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine that women would be too enthralled with a slimy pig in a blanket penis. Okay, so then there was a guy in Beverly Hills that was started what are called cutting the suspensory ligament. And for some reason, all these things seem to happen in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So if you put your hand where your pubic hair is and push down, there's the pubic bone. And then on the underside of the pubic bone, there's a ligament in men that attaches to the penis called the suspensory ligament. When guys get erections, this is what holds the flag up at full mast.
Yes.
Right. But if you cut that, the penis will hang lower. But when you get an erection, it's going to be hanging at half mast.
Okay.
And over time, anytime you do surgery inside the body, you generate scar tissue. So if you generate scar tissue at the level of the suspensory ligament, guess what? Your penis becomes shorter because it doesn't extend outside the body like it used to. Right.
So in the short term, will get longer, and then in the long term, actually with the scar tissue, shorten up. Exactly.
And then finally, also out of Beverly Hills is the pneuma. And the pneuma is basically like a silicone taco that you get surgically inserted. So it goes over the erectile bodies, but under the skin.
Wow.
So it doesn't increase the rigid length. It will increase the sort of hanging, the flaccid length, and it definitely increases the girth. But here again, it's kind of that pig in a blanket penis, which, pig in a blankets are good at a cocktail party, but I don't know about the bedroom.
I'm loving your jokes about this.
Yeah.
Okay. So, right. None of these sound like great options.
Yeah. None of these. So, here comes P-long, right? So now I've proven that you can do this. And it's not like what I did was revolutionary. The RestoreX device already was shown to increase length about 2 centimeters. PRP is known to increase function and known to accelerate growth. People have been using suction devices for a long time to increase penile length, but you got to use it for 8 to 10 hours a day. And then people use nitric oxide booster to improve circulation. What I did is I pulled all that together, but then I actually did the study. Right. And studies are really hard to do.
Yeah.
You just have to listen to how I had to go through to recruit patients, but then you have to
and
patients,
then to
you have
keep
to keep coming
them
back. Yeah.
Right. To have someone who's committed for 6 months.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It's not. And then, this was all during COVID. So it was not an easy experience. And then to get scientists in the academic medical community to kind of verify and sign off on the validity of your study, is really a tough thing.
Congratulations. I mean, the one benefit of COVID is people were home and had more time, but
that's true.
Yeah. I mean, huge congratulations to get all of that done and approved and verified.
Yeah. So, to unleash this onto the world, we created the P-Long website. So it's p-long.com.
Okay.
And all of the information that a man would need to help him decide whether this is something for him is on that site. All the research, all the protocols, all the data, everything is there to help men understand what it's all about. And we're building an international roster of P-Long certified physicians.
Right? So that people don't necessarily have to come to you if they're in a different part of the world or the country.
No, yeah. That way, I'm training people, and I developed an ultrasound guided injection of PRP, which is a much more accurate way of delivering the PRP. The P-Long protocol has certain technologies that are proprietary is not the right word, but if you're going to get the P-Long, if you're going to make a recipe, you want to make sure that you have all the ingredients that are listed in the cookbook. If it says butter, then don't use margarine. If it says, eggs, don't use egg whites.
Tried, as a gluten-free person, I've tried using even different flours and things just go wrong.
Yeah,
so
it just
you've mastered the recipe. And I imagine, some parts of this people actually can't do themselves.
Yeah, exactly. This is the recipe that's been tested.
Yeah.
There could be other recipes that are better. I don't know. If someone's interested and think that they can do better, great. Then do the study, prove it to me, and I'll use your recipe. Great. But at this point, so far, this P-Long is the only recipe in the kitchen.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your commitment to this. And, like I said, having a study approved and getting it verified and all of that. I mean, I can't even imagine how much time and energy that took. So thank you for being of service to the men who want this and need this. And men know where to find you. Any last things you want men to know?
Oh, gosh. Well, just all the information you need is at p-long.com. And then by signing up with a P-Long certified provider, you'll know that you have someone who is trained in ultrasound guided P-shot and is using all the proper ingredients for the P-Long protocol.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on.
I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of Man Alive. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and it gave you something to consider and explore in your life. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful for you to subscribe and write a quick review that helps men like you find us. And again, head over to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz or text the word ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 to get a sense of how you can become a better lover and leader. You'll start to see how you can be both more respected and desired in your unique and genuine way. If you don't feel as confident or as excited about life or love as you'd like to be, this quiz is a really great starting point and will guide you toward a more passionate love life and a more inspiring and successful career. So again, text ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 or head over to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz. Join us each week for a new episode of Man Alive.